Everyone, after all of this Sentebale affair, and Harry trying to act as if this has nothing to do with him, is aware of this. What did they do with the $50 million that were transferred from the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, to Sentebale? Look at how much money the United States Agency for International Development was planning to provide to Sentebale. I saw this tweet which was sent out by Roger Lesage. It is a legitimate question. These funds come from the United States taxpayers. This is not a joke. That much is clear. The money in question is real. In the process of discovering this, I was unaware of it. I normally follow Roger Lesage and pay serious attention to what he has to say, but this time I said, no, what is this? I have no doubt that this is the culprit. Where can I get this on the internet? The Newsweek. First things first, allow me to have a look at this. In collaboration with Prince Harry, Sentebale, and USAID, the charitable organization assisted in the implementation of the Karabo Ea Bofelo initiative in Lesotho, which began in 2020 and aimed to provide assistance to 25,000 vulnerable children and orphans in order to promote HIV prevention. In addition, the webpage for United States Foreign Assistance details that the project will get $51.40 million over the course of 5 years, with the final year being January 2025. The Baylor College of Medicine is listed as the project's partner. Despite the fact that it is probable that Sentebale was not the only recipient, it would be lovely if that were the case. In light of the fact that, once more, this is unrelated, it would be very convenient if we have quantitative information regarding this. Despite the fact that this is an image that has nothing to do with the event that is taking on, it is certainly not likely that Harry will be able to just run away. At this very moment, we are witnessing those who are defending Harry. You are very welcome, Connell Citadel. Please don't forget to follow Connell on X, since he has cited this from the Times. The New York Times is attempting to portray Harry as a victim, as you may know. Sentebale, inside the dysfunctional charity Prince Harry Hasquith, Baroness Chalker of Wallasey, a trustee for nearly 20 years, described the almost dictatorial style of its chairwoman, Sophie Chandauka, said Baroness Chalker of Wallasey. It is imperative that you keep in mind that Sophie Chandauka was not present for the entire event, and that she was being held responsible for events that occurred prior to her arrival. In addition, who knows what kind of political maneuvering and shady practices she had to work through? That is not what I am saying. I am not claiming that everything that she did was wonderful. That she is a good person is not something I am claiming. Even though I have no way of knowing that, I am quite confident that Harry could have done more. I am pretty sure that he could have done more. Over the course of the past 48 hours, the Times has been occupied with cleaning up after Harry, as stated by Connell. And with that, we have yet another attack piece that portrays the black chairperson of Sentebale as a dictator, while at the same time portraying poor Harry as a victim who is motivated by selflessness. Kate Manzi writes that inside the dysfunctional charity, Prince Harry Hasquith, Baroness Chalker of Wallasey, a former overseas development minister and a trustee of Sentebale for nearly 20 years, told the Times, remember that Sentebale was found in 2006, so it's 19 years to be exact, told the Times that her retirement from the Sentebale board in November 2024 was in response to Sophie Chandauka's leadership. Chalker, who became a trustee when Harry co-founded Sentebale in 2006, stated that he was unhappy with the way in which the chair was or was not leading the charity. If Lesotho's prince were to say so, Chalker would say that he was not happy with the direction. To put things right, I did not believe that I had the opportunity or the energy to do so. However, I am rather certain, my dear Baroness Chalker of Wallasey, that I require some form of title, such as, well, I am the Baron of Midjourney and Marquis de Trolas. I now possess my titles. I don't make as frequent use of them. I need to make more frequent use of them. A member of the Wallasey Baroness Chalker. I have no doubt that you have Harry's phone number stored on your device. You didn't make use of it, huh? I am fairly certain that you could have called Harry or Prince to say so, or both of them, and perhaps you could have also talked to the rest of the board members. The possibilities are endless. I have a strong suspicion that you could have used your voice to be heard. It's possible that Harry was not involved. There was not a great deal of investment on Harry's part in the organization. Only for the purpose of polo opportunities did he intend to use it. According to Chalker, the statement that the prince had resigned from the organization in order to show unity with trustees who had lost faith in Chandauka was extremely upsetting. but it was not completely unexpected or unexpected. To be honest, we are not surprised that Harry has decided to leave things. What can I say about it? It is almost authoritarian, if I may say so. Cannell thinks that this is the fundamentals of gaslighting, and I agree with him. It is a straight attack piece that lacks content, the traditional defamatory strategy employed by Harry and Meghan. They dispatched Baroness Wheatley for the simple reason that it appears to be inappropriate for men to continue assaulting a black woman. On the other hand, it is very evident that she is Harry's companion, and she has been a member of the board for 20 years, which is the board that Shandoka is suing. Context is important. It should come as no surprise that the Baroness has a vested interest in portraying Shandoka as being inadequate. Consequently, she employs provocative terms such as dictator and dysfunctional, directing them on Shandoka, despite the fact that she has not produced any evidence to support her allegations. If you want to read Cannell's complete thoughts on this matter, you should make sure that you follow her. On X, it is one of the accounts that I am most fond of. In addition to that, the undisputed king of mathematics. Numbers were the topic of our conversation. Not a problem, Harry. According to the royal grift, the math is either not nothing or not nothing at all. Prince Harry has pledged to raise $1.50 million for his polo fundraiser in the year 2021. As stated in the Sentebale annual report for the year 2021, they have stated that they have received the money, but they will include it in the report for the following year. When you perform the conversion, the amount of money that was raised through the fundraising activities in 2021 was $1.50 million. So, if Harry's money is not taken into account, was this the amount that they raised in addition to the $1.50 million that Harry had raised? When I say that, I mean that is completely illogical. While I read this, I don't understand what you're saying. It is concerning that the United States contributed $2.60 million in 2021, as stated in the filings made by the United States. This is a huge increase in comparison to the previous years. The assumption here is that this includes Harry's $1.50 million. It would imply that either no money was raised for the Polo 2021 fundraising, or that the $2.60 million from the United States is not appropriately shown in the 2021 annual report. If this is the case, then the Polo 2021 fundraiser cannot be considered successful. Therefore, if there is a mistake made by an accountant in this situation, somebody is going to be sued. As a result, someone is going to jail. Because of this, I have a strong suspicion that somebody will end up in jail. According to the royal grift, the yearly report for the year 2022 makes it sound as though Harry gave another $1.50 million. This is sure to make your brain hurt even more. If this is the case, then the amount of money that was raised for the 2022 Center Valley Polo Cup consisted of around $400,000 out of the total of £1.56 million, which is equivalent to $1.90 million for events. But what about the event itself? Do you recall the Polo Cup, which we covered in great detail here today? It was estimated that the event alone would cost a couple $100,000. Sorry, but that doesn't work. These are really ridiculously high quantities. And you are aware that everywhere there is an increase in the amount of money, there is also corruption. People use the money to purchase other items. To be honest, I have to ask, are we to believe that they were only able to raise $400,000 despite having sponsors of a significant name? This sum, however, does not include Prince Harry's $1.50 million, as it was recorded in the United States in the year 2021 only. I mean, I'm fairly convinced, I'm almost certain, that they have no concept of what they have done. I'm quite certain of that. And they, along with the authorities, are soon to find out about it. This set of numbers does not make sense in any manner. I am also of the opinion that there is some strange thing going on. According to the papers made in the United States, all of the revenue rates are sent in at 1.002 into a bank account in the United Kingdom. Not at all. This presents a challenge. To put it another way, Harry, this is the issue with not being transparent. As an elderly gentleman, how many times do you need to be reminded of this lesson? Additionally, from the Prince Freedom 007, please do not forget to follow the Royal Grift on both YouTube and X as soon as possible. According to the Prince Freedom 007, Prince Harry traveled to Singapore at the very last minute in order to give chase to William. Remember that? Who was present at the charity ESP event that he had organized 2 years in advance? This is the kind of behavior that the brainless people of Montecito engage in. They make things up on the spot and improvise. Harry's small adventure was completely funded by Sentebale charity, which covered every single expense that he incurred. This sounds very much like the business changes that have taken place at the Invictus Games, in which the Invictus Games are required to pay for everything, even the extremely rigorous protection of the pair. Even though Sophie, Chandaka's chair, was required to be present, she was able to see right through it and summon him. What exactly is the relationship between Singapore and Africa? Could you perhaps explain why the African Charity Bank is playing a polo match in Asia? Without a doubt, Harry has been neglecting the charity and treating it as if it were his own personal public relations machine. Sophie slammed the door shut firmly. She redirected all of the fundraising efforts to Africa, relocated the offices of the organization to Africa, and cut off Harry's slush fund so that he could use it for his self-serving public relations stunts and pity tournaments. She went through the books, saw the chaos, and then she decided to stop talking. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sausages, lost his cool and had a full-blown tantrum because he was scared that the entire world would find out what he had been up to. In his pursuit of his own goals, he has not prioritized the welfare of the charitable organization. It's possible that Meghan has a plan, just so we know. After that, he and his companions go their separate ways, leaving the mess behind as well as a few other problems. Jay inquires, the polo event brought in a significant amount of money for the organization. According to the prince's response, one of the reasons they wanted to get rid of Chandaka was because her plans for raising money were unsuccessful. It was only because William issued a press release stating that he was heading to Singapore that he found himself in Singapore. It's true that this was an extremely last-minute thing. However, at the end, to write back a hi, there is a quote that is absolutely perfect in this context. Every time you think of the incident that occurred at Sentebale, you have to agree that this one line perfectly encapsulates the relationship between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. It is true that there are individuals in our world who act as if they are above the law and mistreat people. These individuals then play the victim card and utilize the very press that they despise in order to cause harm to individuals who have the bravery to oppose their behavior. The chair of Sentebale, Sophie Chandaka, is the one who has provided this information. In light of this is the situation that we find ourselves in at the moment. Nonetheless, I am curious to know what you think Harry did with that money in the comments section.